Does your table saw have a sword? By the power of Grayskull! Guys, we are deep in the picket season, and I don't mean your nose.
Why? It's so gross.
It's planner build time. We're gonna build some planners today. Guys, I thought up some planners that I haven't seen anybody building. That's really hard to do nowadays. Enough talking, let's get to building some planners. First, we're gonna cut 3 boards. One at 16 inches, one at 18 inches, and one at 20 inches. Okay, so now we're gonna take those 3 boards and we're gonna put them together just like this. I got the 16, the 20, and the 18. And then we're gonna measure that width. Make sure you keep them nice and tight. And I've got 16 and 3/8. So now we need to cut 3 boards. I'm not throwing out west side, that's 3.
West side.
At that 16 and 3/8 mark. And then I just measured the first one, and then I did that trick where you put the board on top of the other one and then just cut alongside the board. You don't have to hold them up like a D-bag like I did unless you're recording yourself. So my box is gonna go together like this. One of these pieces for the bottom and then one for the front and the back. The sides I'm gonna cut out of the leftover piece, I'm gonna put it inside of here and measure to the top of this. And that's gonna be my sides. Now I got this 2x2, it's actually probably 1.5 by 1.5 piece of cedar. And this is gonna go inside of here like this, and it's gonna help hold this all together. Plus, I'm gonna notch out the bottom, and it's gonna go through, and it's gonna be feet. So it's gonna have 2 purposes, kinda. So I'm just gonna trace the bottom of this so I can notch it out. And I'm just gonna trace it on every corner. Then I'm gonna square these up a little bit because the thing is kind of curved. You don't have to do this, I'm just extra. I know a lot of you are like, extra large. I am kind of extra large, right? You got me there. Then I just cut out the notches on my bandsaw. You can use anything, a jigsaw. You can even do these with a handsaw since they're just straight cut. So you can measure this and cut it. I like to do it the lazy way. I don't know if this is the lazy way, but it's easier for me. Just mark it. I don't know if that was actually easier because now I'm checking it with the tape measure. It's actually about 6.5. It's actually about 6.5, so I'm just gonna cut it 6.5. Okay, I kind of messed up because originally I told you guys I was gonna put this inside of here like this, but it looks kind of funny down here. That's one thing, but also I didn't account for the space of this and my legs, so I should have notched this back even further, the width of this. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take the width of this off of these and off of the notches. I'm gonna take the width off of this and off the notches, and I'm gonna put it back inside like I originally had it planned. And then also the 2 sides that I cut, I gotta cut them. Sorry guys, a lot of dust in here. The 2 sides that I cut, I gotta cut them the same width as this, as my bottom board. So I'm just gonna line them up and then mark it out.
Do you have a measuring tape around?
Your foot's gonna stick down through the bottom just like this. Now, depending on how long of a foot you want, I want mine to be about 1 inch right there off the ground. You could do 2 inches if you want. You could do as high as you want, really. Within reason, I mean, you don't want it to be unstable, but I'm gonna do about 1 inch. So I wanna cut these to about 5.5 inches. Okay, I'm getting ready to assemble the box part of this project, and I'm gonna use these Rockler bench cookies because they're about 1 inch thick. I'm gonna put my base on there, or the bottom board, and then that way when I attach the legs, it's gonna hold them 1 inch off the ground, and it's gonna be pretty even. Before I do that, I'm gonna attach the sides to one of the longer panels. I don't know if it's the front or the back. And I'm just using wood glue and brad nails to assemble this thing. Then I'm using clamps to hold it together just till I can brad nail it. Oh, this clamp's not big enough. I'm just gonna use 1 clamp just to hold it in place. I don't have to put it real tight, because it probably won't stay like this. If you're big box store pickets or anything like mine, they're probably gonna be bowed and they're not gonna like line up perfectly. So you might have to use some clamps. Can you tell what I'm doing wrong right here? Oh, look what I almost did. I glued the wrong side. I almost freaking nailed that wrong. Look, I almost did. It needs to go like this. Now I just glued that edge. Good thing I'm not staining this stuff. I kept telling myself, be careful you don't glue the wrong side. And I almost did it. So now I'm gonna nail my bottom on. First, a little bit of glue. Okay, now I'm going to put on the last panel, and I'm using Titebond 3 because it's waterproof, but I always use Titebond 3. I'm just using regular nails. You should be using, so they say, when you're doing something like this for exterior, you should be using either a stainless steel nail or a galvanized nail. I don't know what mine are. They look like they might be galvanized, but I'm not sure. It's hard to find exterior brad nails, at least at my local box store. All right, so there's my box so far. I'm gonna put down the bench cookies now underneath of here, and then I'm gonna glue the legs in like this and then nail it in. Now when you put it on the glue, try not to get it on the last inch because that's gonna be the part that's sticking out. I say that now, but I'll probably put glue on the last inch of the next one. Now this is gonna give it strength. You could use screws if you wanted. And then just repeat that process for the next 4 legs. So you could stop right here if you wanted, and you could just make this little planter box. Look how cute this is. I mean, look how manly this is. This is cool. But what I was gonna do was, you know, I like to go a little bit further. Was my original plan, but it didn't work out. You guys tell me what you think. I wanted to do mountains on the back of it, right? Now, I know these don't look like mountains, okay? Don't come in the comments. That's not a mountain. But they were gonna look, you know, stick up out of the back. So you had like some mountains in the back. I was gonna put some peaks on them. And then down here, you'd have your forest or whatever, your plants. But I just couldn't figure out how to do it right because I thought it should be like 3D'd up and then you would have gaps back here. So I just couldn't figure out how to do it right. But if you guys come up with something, man, do it. Let me see how it comes out. I would love to see how something like that came out. See, here's an old set of mountains I had in the garage. Now, they would be bigger than this, of course. They would just stick up out of the back, but you would do them in different dimensions, though, something like this. You know, going all the way across. But I got something different I'm going to do. Let me show you. Okay, so now we're going to take them first 3 boards we cut, the 16, the 18, and the 20, and I'm going to arrange them like this. I like the 20 in the middle and then the 16 and 18 on the sides. First, I'm going to find the center on the top of each one. Okay, to find the center, I'm going to use my square. And you see, I'm almost 5.5, just not quite. You see that? I'm gonna tilt it till I'm even with the 5.5 mark. Or you can actually go all the way to the 6 if you wanna make it even easier. Because half a 6, I'm trying to hold this on here and do it at the same time. Half a 6 is 3, so this should be your center right there. And then just do that on all 3 boards at the top. I'm just putting a little dent. Do it on the back side of the board, the side that's not going to face the front. Oh, it's obviously the back side. And then just do that. Mark at the top. Then take your square and you're going to mark a 45 on both sides. Flip it over. This board is so bowed, it's making this a little difficult. So, and then do that on each board. You're going to cut the top at a 45 like that. I'm kind of lazy, so I'm going to stack all 3 of mine and cut them all 3 at the same time. Now, I call this triple decker sandwich style.
Because everything I touch is food for my hunger.
Well, bam. For this next part, I need my table saw. And this is just decorative. So if you don't have a table saw, you could skip this step and you could find another way to jazz it up or whatever we call it in the business. This is my way of polishing the turd, as they say. Does your table saw have a sword? By the power of Grayskull!
What a nerd.
Okay, so I'm gonna set my fence to 1 inch, all the way back here. So I'm gonna go up about 1/8 of an inch because I'm just scoring the wood. I'm not coming all the way through, but this board is so bowed that I might not even touch it when I get to the center. So I may have to adjust it, we'll see. But just to start, I'm gonna go up about 1/8 of an inch and see how that looks. 1 inch, 1/8 of an inch. I know you guys know what 1 inch looks like. Okay, so the goal is to score the board 1 inch in on one side, then flip the board around so I'm scoring the opposite edge on the same face of the board. Then I'm going to scoot the fence over 1 inch so I'm at the 2 inch mark. Then I'm going to do the same exact thing, cutting in 2 inches from each edge on the same face. For this next part, I had to get my miter sled because I'm going to do the same lines, but they're going to be horizontal. So I need a miter sled to do that, or at least a miter gauge if you got one. So I'm going to mark this on the back side that nobody's going to see every inch.
I feel like I'm always sitting in my videos. I think I sit down more than Stephen Hawking's.
I just realized a lot of this isn't going to be seen because it's going to be behind the box. So I don't even need to start all the way at the bottom. I'm going to start about right here.
Now, if you don't have a miter gauge or a miter sled or even a table saw and you still want to do this, you can always do this with your miter saw and just set the depth stop.
While I got the table saw out, I'm going to rip a strip off of this darker cedar that I'm going to use later. The strip I'm going to rip is going to, oh, listen, I just made up a song. The strip I'm going to rip. Anyways, the strip I'm going to rip is going to be the same thickness as 2 pickets. So I'm going to use these 2 scraps from a picket to set my distance. And if you want the measurement, that's about an inch and 3/16.
JASCO remix. Here's a little tip about the strip I'm about to rip. Hold it tight and don't let it slip. I am really sorry about that. Please don't unsubscribe. Right now I'm going to drill a hole in the center of these and make it look like a birdhouse.
I'm going to mark the center right here, which is about 2 3/4. And then I think that's down about
4.5 inches from the top.
And I'm going to try to get this Forstner bit right in the middle of these lines. I already got my piece clamped, and I'm going to use this 3/4 inch Forstner bit to make a hole. Well, bam. I'm going to do that same thing in the other 2. Now we're going to take that 1 3/16 inch piece we ripped down from the picket, you know, the width of the 2 boards, and we're going to cut that up. You're going to cut it into 5-inch pieces, and then we're going to 45 one side. Then we're going to put them on the house like this and nail it and glue it down. So I'm just going to use some glue and my pin nailer to attach these. You can use brads if you want. It doesn't really matter. I just like the pin nailer because you can't see them. But with this stuff, the brads usually sink in and you really can't see those either because of the rough surface. It just sucked it right up. I got to add a little bit more. Well, bam, and then just do that for all 3. Okay, so when you put all your roofs on, you're not going to be able to put them together. We have to put them together to put them on there. So we're going to notch the roofs on the side where they touch the other house. Should be pretty simple. I'm just going to use my pool saw and notch it out. I'll show you how. Make sure you keep track of which one you got to cut. So if I flip this over like this is the one I got to cut because that's towards that house. I'm going to use a ruler and I'm going to mark where I need to cut it. And then I'm just going to cut it. Only go like halfway through because remember we did these half the thickness of one of these boards. So go about halfway through. So now when you go about halfway through, you're going to line it up with the front of the house like this. And just do the same thing until you get to that. So now I'm gonna turn my house up on its side. Let it hang over a little. If you got a vise, this would be a good time to use it, which I actually got one. So I'm gonna put mine in the vise real quick. I just got this little carpenter vise. It's portable, they call it. You can't go wrong for 20 bucks. I've been dying to use it for something, and this is just perfect. Line your blade up with the inside of the house, and then that's where you're gonna cut at. And just do it at the same angle because you want your blade to be the same angle as the side of the house. Well, bam. So now mine's notched. Came out pretty good. When I put it on here, perfect. Look at that. So I'm going to nail these on like this. And originally, I meant for one to be up here like this. Each one was an inch lower than the other one. But when I put them together, it looks like this. Does that look funny? Or should I put this one down like this? So it's almost even with that one. My wife said this one looks better. And I kind of agree with her. What do you guys think? So if you do this, you're going to have to cut an inch off of one. So now we got 16, 18, and 20. You're going to have 16, I believe 17, and 20. Okay, so I'm just going to start on the right side. I'm going to put some wood glue. Nice and heavy. I'm even going to do some down the side to glue them together. I'm going to put my piece on. I'm going to square it with the bottom, square it with the side, and then I'm using some 1-inch brad nails to nail this on. I laid them out on the table first so I didn't mix it up and mess this thing up. So I'm going to add some more glue to the side of this one. Put some glue down here. Now do the same thing for the last one. You guys ready for this? Bam!
Let's build one more small planter and then we'll put some flowers in these things. I'm gonna show you guys another little planter you can build out of this 3.5 inch picket. I'm gonna start by cutting 2 pieces at 21 inches. Next, we're gonna start by cutting 2 pieces the width of both of your boards, which in a perfect world would be 7 inches because they're both supposed to be 3.5 inches. But in my garage, it's 6 7/8. I accidentally said 2 pieces the same width of these both together, which was 6 7/8, but I meant 4 pieces. I tried to build this all out of one picket, but I didn't make it. I need 5.5 inches off of another board. Okay, so this is the back of the planter, and I did it in thirds because the bottom box is 7 inches, and I did the back 21. If anybody was wondering, why is he doing 21 inches? That's why, because it's gonna be in thirds. That's the golden rule. So I'm gonna have the bottom's gonna be 7, and then I wanna put a heart in the top 7 inches. So, and then these are the different size hearts I used. 3.5 is half, is actually one of these boards. Then I did another heart, 2 3/4, and then I did another heart, 2 1/2. I think I like the 3 1/2 size the best. You guys let me know what you guys think in the comments. So I'm gonna put this up in the top third of it. So I'll have a third of it's gonna be with a heart in it. Then the middle's gonna have the flowers, and then the bottom's gonna be the box. So I'm gonna cut a strip like this for the other side to hold the top together. So I don't wanna go too close to that strip. I wanna check out my spacing. And then here's 7 inches. So it looks like I can go a little bit lower. So if you put the bottom of your heart about 6 inches down, you should be good. And then just trace your heart on with a pencil. Now I'm just gonna cut this out with my jigsaw. I said that so confidently, but I have to be honest, this was not easy to cut out with a jigsaw. Whew, that looks like Michael J. Fox cut this thing out. It's a good thing I had this spindle sander around to help me clean this mess up. If you're a wannabe amateur woodworker's assistant like me, keep a lot of tools around that'll help you polish up a turd. All right, now it's time to assemble this thing. I'm just gonna use some wood glue and some brad nails. Now you could also use some pocket hole screws if you wanted to, but I'm just giving this to my sister, so I don't care if it falls apart. Oh, the clamps are too small. So I just put a little bit of light pressure on there. Then I'm gonna glue this strip onto the top. I'm just putting that on there to hold it for a second. And I'm gonna nail it from the back. I took the nails out and I never put new nails back in. Because now I'm gonna glue and nail the bottom one on to hold the bottom together. My 2 boards are crowned where they're coming together, so it's making it a little bit. Okay, so now I'm gonna assemble the box part. Just some glue. I'm gonna use a couple screws to hold this part on because it's holding the weight of the dirt. If you guys are enjoying the video, please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that other fun stuff that you're supposed to do, the new hype thing. If you have that, I know not everybody has the hype. I really appreciate you guys. I really appreciate you watching. Then I did the same exact thing on the other side, but can you see what I'm doing wrong here? Look at the 2 pieces. Look at how small that top piece is that I'm clamping on. That's my bottom piece, and I'm attaching it to the side. If that wasn't bad enough, I just did this. Split my wood. I just split it. I still haven't noticed that I'm using the wrong board, that it's a lot shorter than the other one. I'm filling the crack with glue, drilling deeper holes. I didn't realize till now when I couldn't find the bottom piece. And I'm like, why do I have so many long pieces left? I'm looking at all my long pieces, and then finally, look, the face of defeat. What an idiot. Look what I did. You can't write this stuff. This is the one that's supposed to go on the bottom. I'm trying to find it, and I'm like, where the hell's the one that goes on the bottom? That's the one I split. I put it on the side. So it's kind of a happy accident. Now I don't have to have a split in my top. Now this bottom piece, I'm gonna put it up a few inches, or like 1.5 inches. That way when it's sitting on the ground, your water can drain out of the bottom. And it's not just sitting in the water. This way you don't have to put as much dirt in there to fill it up. And this part doesn't have to sit on the dirt all unprotected. It'll give you some space for the water to drain out. I'm gonna put a couple of 1/4-inch holes on the bottom. Now this is optional, you don't have to do this. And then all I gotta do is glue these ones on the front. Now that I have it all together, I'm gonna clean up this heart a little bit more with my little drum sander attachment. And now it's just a little deformed like my very own heart. Now it's time to put some flowers in these things. My biggest bidder of this whole project was going to Walmart to buy their flowers. They looked like they were grown on a toxic waste dump. Then I told my wife, don't get my double chin while you're filming the flowers, just get the flowers. And what does she do? Not only does she get my double chin, she gets my head, which looks like a watermelon growing mold. From the side, I look like I grew up on a toxic waste dump. From the front, just a regular dump. Well, what do you guys think? I think it came out really good. I like the different textures in the back little birdhouses. Other than the special needs flowers, I think this one came out great. Now this small one, you got two ways you can display this one. You could put it right on the ground like this, or you can hang it on the wall like a wall sconce. That's what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to hang it right on this beam right here. Sorry.
You are so gross.
That's how it ends?